to be paired up against a veteran tournament knight who was one of the more skilled men on the circuit. That put the knight at a very bad position, because the games were his livelihood, and if he didn't win, he wouldn't make any money. He had tried to talk the Earl out of it. In fact, they had all tried to talk the Earl out of it, including the man's sons and the Bishop of Durham himself. But the old man wouldn't listen. Therefore, the knight faced him the next morning with the intention of disabling him early on, so that they could simply get this pass out of the way. Unfortunately for him, the Earl had other ideas. The Earl was very out of practice. When the moment came that the knight had planned to simply push the Earl off his horse, the Earl had fallen awkwardly and ended up underneath his horse's feet. The horse trampled the man to death. It had been a most unfortunate happenstance that had seen the tournament of Durham postponed for 2 full years. The Earl's family didn't blame the knight, nor did anyone else, really. But the whispers followed him. That knight had returned to Durham. In fact, he was here this very day. Ridge de Reyne was that knight. Ridge had returned to the scene of that most unfortunate event, and he wasn't quite sure how he felt about it. There were the obvious unsavoury memories coupled with the recollections of victory. These were his hunting grounds, his home, and his legacy all rolled into one. He had been a professional tournament competitor since he had left the service of Alexander, King of Scotland, a few years ago, unable to serve the man because he had lost faith in nearly everything, including his oath. Now his home was where he made it, and his allegiance was to himself. Behind him his men were setting up their encampment, complete with custom-made tents that weren't quite a year old. They were black and white, made with the best canvas, and constructed by a family in Sunderland, whose sole business was based on constructing fine travelling shelters for kings, earls, lords, and tournament knights. They charged a good deal, but their craftsmanship was excellent. With the black and white standards snapping in the breeze, everyone knew that the Black Storm and his group had arrived and was prepared to compete. "I am heading over to see the field marshals, Ridge." A man with sharp, hawk-like features and piercing blue eyes came up behind him. "I have heard they will have a few joust bouts later today, just to entertain the crowd. Do you want me to express your interest in them?" Ridge turned to a man who had become a close friend. Sir Payne de Seron was from a good family in Sussex, but a greedy older brother who had inherited the family wealth had forced the man out into the world to fend for himself. Payne had come to the tournament circuit to earn his way, and by all accounts was richer than his brother now. Payne was a tall man and a big target on the back of a horse, which made the joust tricky for him at times. But in the mass competition or archery, he was unbeatable. Games were always interesting with Payne in the mix. Ridge inhaled deeply. "Can you smell it, Payne?" he asked. "What?" "The excitement," Ridge said. "I can smell it every time we come to a new tournament. There is something in the air that can be inhaled or ingested. It feeds me like nothing else." Payne grinned as he too looked over the tournament fields. "There are some excellent houses here today," he said. "Someone said De Wolf of Castle Questing is here. You know the man, of course." Ridge looked at him sharply. "William de Wolf? That is what I heard." Ridge stared at him a moment before a smile spread across his lips. "Excellent," he said. "This tournament just got better. I don't know the man personally, but of course I know his reputation. He arrived with a contingent from Northwood Castle, so I'm told." Ridge put his big hands together gleefully. "The Earl of Teviot is here too," he said. "Send word to Teviot and to De Wolf. Send them my compliments, and tell them that I look forward to meeting them, on the field and off." Payne nodded. "I will," he said. "But we are the team to beat, and everyone knows it. Do not be surprised if they do not welcome you warmly." Ridge smiled thinly. "That is to be expected," he said, his gaze moving out over the encampments again.